today comes from Romans chapter 14, verses 7 through 9. We do not live to ourselves. We do not die to ourselves. If we live to the Lord. And if we die to the Lord. So then, whether we live or whether we die, we are the Lord's. For to this end Christ died and lived again, so that he might be Lord of both the dead and the living. May God have a blessing to the reading of the Holy Scriptures. Will you pray with me? Lord God, may the words of my mouth and the meditations of all of our hearts be acceptable in thy sight, our rock and our Redeemer. Amen. Good morning.
Good morning.
It's good to be here today. First things first, I got my tissues right here because I have yet to make it through this story without becoming emotional. Some of you think that this story is the 9/11. I'm actually going to talk about the Razorback game last night. We all remember where we were, September 11th, 2001. But let me back up. In May of 2001, I graduated from the University of Arkansas, ready to tackle the world as the greatest stockbroker that ever lived. So I got hired on at Morgan Stanley, and all summer I studied for my Series 7, passed my Series 7, and the next step in Morgan Stanley is to go to training for 3 weeks in New York City. So my parents and my wife, they asked me, where is this training in New York City? And I was like, I don't know. Wherever they send me, wherever the bus goes, that's where I'll go. I have no idea where the training is. So I hopped on a plane September 9th, 2001. And I get to, the hotel, and we had a nice dinner, and then Monday morning, the shuttle picks us up. And I walk on the shuttle, and I'm in my coat and tie, and I look over, and the rest of the people in the shuttle are in their coats and ties, and we arrive at the World Trade Center. When we look, it's a massive structure. If anybody's ever been there, it's a huge structure. When you stand at the bottom, you can't even really see the top. It is a huge building. So I'm standing there, this country bumpkin from Arkansas, looking at this. I'm just in awe of everything. I look down and my shoes aren't even tied. So I bend down and I tie my shoes. Meanwhile, my group's not waiting for me. They're moving on. So I think, it's okay. I'll just catch up to the people that have the coats and ties on. That's everyone at the bottom of the world. So I'm trying to find my group. I don't know what's going on. Both towers are connected at the bottom. Right? So it's very confusing. I didn't know what was happening, what was going on. Finally, I find my group, and we're at the security station. Because you can't just walk into the World Trade Center and ride the elevator all the way up top, right? You have to get a security clearance if you're going to go into the office facilities. So we're waiting there to get our security clearance, and there's a lot of us from Morgan Stanley. So the security people had us sectioned off in groups, right? They had A through G in one line, I through N in another, and then O through Z in the other, right? So what'd they forget? H's. There's no H's. So I look around and I'm like, I don't know what's going on. The guy in front of me, I think, was from New York, and so he verbalized my confusion. He goes, hey, where do the H's go? And the security lady in the back goes, sir, and points over the A through G line. I was like, works for me. So I give the A through G line. We had groups and groups of people keep coming up, and every group would have at least one H, and they'd look over and they'd go, where do we go if our last name starts with H? And these people in the security office, they were getting so angry with us. They were like, guys, and they would point over the A through G line. So as I got closer to the line, I heard them making fun of us in the back. I heard them saying, I thought you were supposed to be smart to be in Morgan Stanley. You didn't even know where the H goes. And I go, man, you understand that the H isn't accounted for here, right? And she looked over and she goes, oh, well, you guys knew what we meant. No, we didn't. Why would we know that? So again, they were laughing and snickering at us, and they said, it must be. Again, I heard them say, I guess it doesn't, you don't have to have a lot of brains to work at Morgan Stanley. And as I was leaving with somebody, I said under my breath to the person next to me, apparently you only need 25 letters of the alphabet to work at the World Trade Center. wasn't the nicest thing I've ever said. She didn't hear me. I mean, it was just, come on. So I go to the elevator. We ride the elevator up to the 63rd floor of the South Tower. So when we get there, there's about 200 of us from Morgan Stanley. We get there, there's a huge breakfast all laid out for us. Pastries and donuts and cookies and candy and juices and everything. I was like, this is nice. All right. So of course, after my 4th trip to the breakfast bar, I was like, I can get used to something like this. So we go through meetings all day on Monday. It's excruciating. So we get done, and Tuesday morning, September 11th, we ride the shuttle, go up to the 63rd floor, expecting to find the red carpet and the breakfasts, and there was nothing. And so I go up to the guy and I said, hey, where's our pastries? And the guy said, oh, that's just the first day thing. I mean, you're on your own for breakfast the rest of the 3 weeks. And I go, oh, of course I'm starving, right? I thought we were going to have this big thing. I didn't eat at the hotel. So I'm starving. We get a break about 8:30. And there's an elevator hub, and there's also a cafeteria down at the 45th. So I get in the elevator and go down to the 45th floor, and I grab my breakfast of champions, ho-hos, and chocolate milk. I'm going to pay for them, and everybody rushes to the windows. They had heard something. I was oblivious. I didn't hear anything. So they go over to the windows, and I'm moseying over there, and I said, what's going on? And the guy next to me said, did you not feel that? I said, no, I didn't feel anything. And I looked down, and there's bits of fire all down below. Of course, I'm 45 flights up. Well, what had happened was the first plane came into the North Tower, right? The tower next to it. So I was like, yeah, all right, well, I gotta go. So I grabbed the ho-hos and the chocolate milk and head back to the elevator to go back to my clients. And so I get up to the elevator, and the security personnel there are saying, all right, the elevators are closed, everybody go downstairs, we're going downstairs, everybody go. And I'm like, all right, well, I'll follow the crowd. So I started down 45 flights of stairs. And we're walking, it's a very jovial attitude, very relaxed. I had a lot of space in between the people in front of me and the people behind me, and we were laughing, joking, having a good time. And we get to the 25th floor. The 25th floor, we heard a voice on the PA system. So the voice, we all kind of stopped and listened, and the voice on the PA system said, Tower 1 is on fire, but Tower 2 is secure. So please go back to your desk, go back to work, go back to wherever you were coming from. And I don't know if anybody took that advice in any other stairwell. They didn't take it in my stairwell. I started to head to the door, and everybody on top of me was like, hey, keep moving. I'm like, all right, that sounds pretty good to me. So I kept walking down the stairs. I get to the 9th or 10th floor, and that's when the plane goes into our building. I felt that. The whole building shakes, right? The jovial nature is gone. It's something really bad has happened. So, we're not casually walking anymore. We're running down these stairs, and we're leaping from stair to stair. We're running all the way down. We get to about the 3rd floor, the 3rd or 2nd floor, and the stairwell ends. And you have to go out into the promenade, the one that I got lost in when there wasn't a terrorist attack happening. But I go out into the promenade and expecting to find confusion, because I don't know the planes that hit the building, but I know something was very wrong. And so I walk out expecting to find all this confusion, and I found the security personnel about every 10 yards saying, go this way, move, go, this way, go. And it was so orderly, and it was so organized. And there was not any decision-making on my part whatsoever. I knew to follow the security personnel all the way out. Except they were taking us these bizarre ways. We kept passing doors that we could have got out of. And again, I know something's dreadfully wrong. So I start veering toward a door. I start to break from the group and veer toward a door. And the security guy goes, hey, no, we're going this way. And I go, I'm going out the building. And he says, no, we got debris falling here, 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 and here. This is the only way out. Now follow me. And I go, all right, you sound like you know what you're doing. So I followed him. You know what I was not concerned with at all at that point? Was whether the security personnel remembered where the H went. So, So we get out of the towers. We're not totally out yet. We're moving along the path of the building. And we're staying real close to the building because the security personnel are saying, look, things are falling, so stay close, stay close, stay close. And then as soon as we could cross the street, they said, run and do not look back. And so I did. So I ran a couple blocks, and people are stopping to look back, and I thought, I've got to see this thing. So I turn around, and I see what everyone else has now seen on television. I see this massive hole in Tower 2, right? But you guys in TV land are seeing a much better picture than I'm seeing. I'm so far down, and it is so far up. So I think, I don't really know how they're going to put that fire out. But, I don't really know what to do. So I thought, I'm not going to try to go back in. They just ushered me out of the building. I'm going to go try to, just go to my hotel. And so I started back to find my hotel. And I heard radio broadcasts, and I saw, I passed some place that had a television on. And I thought, I may want to call home at this point. And of course, I don't have a cell phone. And so I went to a convenience store that was just kind of on the corner, and I said, I need your phone. He just handed it to me, and I called and left a message on our home phone. Mary Frances wasn't there. She was babysitting at one point. So I left a message on our home phone, and we kept the message for the longest time. We deleted it accidentally, though. It said, on the off chance this is on the news, something happened to the tower. I don't really know what it was. Somebody's talking about a plane. I'm not really sure. But I'm okay. Everything's all right. Of course, I never said I'm out of the building or I'm going back to my hotel or anything. I didn't think I needed to. I just said everything's cool. So I head back to the hotel. And I'm trying to find 38th and Lexington. I'm this person up in New York. I don't know where that is. So I'm stopping people every now and then. And I say, where's 38th and Lexington? And they go, take the 9 subway to the 5. And I'm like, no, just point. And they're like, oh, it's like that. So I'm veering over there. Finally find 38th and Lexington. By the time I got back to the hotel, both buildings were already down. So I turned on television, saw where both buildings had already collapsed. So then I thought, all right, I've really got to get hold of my wife and my folks here. So I did, called them, and they knew that I was out. They evacuated 90+% of the South Tower, which was my tower. But it came down first, which means all of the security personnel, every one of them that helped us out, they're all dead, right? Because they were still evacuating, and it was so orderly, they had saved a ton of lives, but they all lost theirs. It's quite painful for me to remember it, because I saw their faces, and they were provided so much security to everyone else, but lost their life. Verse 7 of our reading today goes like this. For none of us lives for ourselves alone, and none of us dies for ourselves alone. Paul was not writing about an event 2 millennia in the future, but I got to see it play out. In the days and the months after 9/11, people wanted vengeance. Remember that? People wanted vengeance. Somebody has to pay for this. But I remember the minutes and the hours after 9/11. Because I got to see a different side of New York City. And life in general, really. I got to see a different side of society. People in harm's way helping others. Love of neighbor actually being on par with love of self. And people have asked the question over and over again. Where was God on 9/11? And I know exactly where God was. Praise be to God.